we will call to order our regular scheduled meeting for March. Can I get roll call, please?
Mr. Atway, President.
Here.
Mrs. DeCapua, Vice President.
Here.
Dr. Alquist.
Here.
Mr. Campbell.
Here.
Mr. DeMilo.
Here.
I got instructions. Okay. Can we stand the pledge of the flag, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we will start off our agenda with our superintendent's update, which I think might be longer than usual, so I'm going to probably recommend some of us go down.
That would be great, Mr. Atway. Thank you. Yes. Well, as the board's making their way down, it just kills me to have to come up to this podium every now and then and brag about all the great stuff going on in this district. Okay, and I'm lying just a little bit. It doesn't bother me at all. So tonight, I'm going to front load this with a whole bunch of good things going on in the district, and we'll continue along with a couple other items as well. So here we go. First of all, the annual Canfield Education Innovation Fund fundraiser is up and running. We've been doing this for the last 2 or 3 years. This has been awesome. This is a great opportunity for any staff member in Canfield to get an opportunity to get some dollars to do some innovative, kind of like out-of-the-box ideas. For our community members, we're looking for ideas, packages, some things that you could donate. We have some folks that donate stays at a hotel. We have folks at the golf courses that donate rounds of golf. Anything about your business that you would like to donate, we put it online, and then everybody in your community gets to vote on it. Our staff members also participate. This is kind of an easy one. One thing I'm going to do is somebody can be superintendent for the day. All right, so you sign up and you bid on me, and all of our administrators are in on all that. It's just a great time. So I have a deadline of this coming Friday for any community members. You can either give Ms. Coleman a call or an email, or just give me a call, and we'll get you set up and get you in there and have a good time with that. The auction itself runs April 2nd through April the 10th before our spring break, so we'll have a lot of fun with that. All right, so here's some great news. You already know that we're a 5-star school district. Okay, we talked about that months ago, but I got an official letter from the Department of Education and Workforce, and a couple of things that were mentioned in here. This remarkable accomplishment highlights your district's commitment to advancing academic achievement and supporting student success. Once again, congratulations, Canfield, on this well-deserved recognition. I hope this award serves as a source of pride and accomplishment for your community and will continue to inspire success in years ahead. And just so you all know and remember, report cards now are like hotels. All right, you want to be a 5-star hotel. All right, that's the top of the line. And as you all should know, and if you don't, I'm going to tell you again tonight, we are the only 5-star school district in Mahoney County. A lot to be proud of here in Canfield. All right, another thing to be proud of is our music program. And the month of March is Music in Our Schools Month, and we've had a lot of fun right in this place right here in this auditorium. Already this month, we started with our Hilltop Mr. Flood, had the 4th graders in here performing their Ohio music show, and they did a fantastic job that night. Hot off the press from this past weekend, our concert and symphonic bands participated in their OMEA district contest and walked away with the highest rating you can get, a superior. So that allows them to continue on in the state competition, which is coming on later in the spring. And also, not only the band, but here comes the choir. All right, so our ladies in the 1 octave higher and our chamber ensemble off to the right there also received a superior rating, the highest they can get, and they will continue on with the OMEA state contest as well. We got a pretty good speech and debate team. Didn't know if you knew that. All right, so these kids are knocking it out of the park. So this year, under the direction of Mr. Hamilton, they finished 10th in the state of Ohio, and that's the 15th top 10 finish in the past 17 years. And just for the record, Mr. Hamilton's been at the helm of all that. So it's been fantastic. And look at that right there. We had a state champion, Ms. Kahn right there, in declamation, all right? Picture off to the right, a state champion in speech and debate. So congratulations to all those individuals. once again, a great job. We're pretty good spelling, too. All right? So we had a champion. Miss Papalardo here, 7th grader at the middle school, was the champion of the WFMJ Regional Spelling Bee, and that allows her to attend the National Spelling Bee held in Washington, D.C. So she'll be on her way to represent Canfield as well. Has some athletic accomplishments. And this screen right here is full for a reason. Our boys and girls swim team just knocked it out of the park this year. It was an amazing year, and it's good to see some of the team here along with Coach. Coach was Northeast Division, District Division II Coach of the Year. You can see all the accolades there. Fowling got 6th place at the state meet, Hayden coming in at 7th. Just a fantastic year. I went to the state meet again this year and had a lot of fun sitting up there watching. Hot in there. It's hot. But I'm telling you what, the kids did a great job down at the pool, and it was a lot of fun to watch them, and just a fantastic year for our swimmers and divers. Basketball wrapped up. Our boys and girls were both district champions this year and had fantastic seasons. Both of them had 20 or more wins in their season. Okay, just outstanding. We just got done wrestling. We just got done wrestling this weekend. And we had 4 state qualifiers, and Mr. Gabe Miller was state runner-up in his weight class, and you can see Joey there as well, got 8th place. I like the picture of Coach Shaw there with his suit and tie on. He's looking good right there. But another fantastic year of wrestling. And Coach DeMalo, we got both those guys, Gabe and Joey, sophomores. All right, so we're going to be around. We're going to be representing for a while down there. I just talked to Coach here and Coach Shaw the other day. You guys know I'm all about the athletic piece, but it's all about academics. This wrestling team, from what I'm told, okay, and Coach Shaw told me this the other day as well, they received the Academic All-Ohio Award based on the team GPA, which is outstanding and very impressive. Okay, so congratulations to that wrestling team. Some of you don't know we have an indoor track team, and they just got back from the state meet as well. We had a girls 4x18 going at it. We had a couple shot putters, and you can see all the way to the right, Mr. Meir down there got 6th place and got himself a medal. So congratulations to our indoor track team, and obviously we're getting ready for the springtime, and they just head on outside and get on the track, and they get rolling. All right, so this one's near and dear to my heart. This gal right here, this is Miss Muno. She has done an amazing job with this Math 24 competition. And by the way, this was started from funds from that innovation grant fund I talked to you about 5 minutes ago. Okay, she applied for a grant, got money for some dollars, and away they went. We had 280 some kids here the other night. 18 different schools were here. The gym was packed. It was like a Friday night basketball game, standing room only, when all of our kids competed, grades 4 through 8, in this Math 24. It was an amazing night, okay? And I'm a little biased, as many of you know, I'm a former math teacher, all right? So I love the math part here. But you can see our winners across the top, all right? All those place winners. Long story short, we took care of business, all right? Our kids knocked this one out of the park as well, but so proud of them. They did a great job. And I want to give a shout out, obviously, to Ms. Muno, who recorded all this, but the number of district staff members that were there to help was incredible. I got to go and watch, which was nice. Mr. Vidal was there as well. But for all the staff members across the district that actually went and sat there and, you know, helped the kids with who won each different contest was incredible. So I want to give a shout out to our staff members as well. Okay, so we did athletics, and we talked about academics like we always do. But that third part of that three-legged stool is the arts, and we're pretty good there as well. How about our youngest learners here at the Butler Institute of American Art, having a great time? We had a 1st and a 2nd place winner. You can see them in their pictures. They had a fantastic day there with our art program. And speaking of art, another one of my favorite activities and days coming up, we have a special needs art show coming, and it's actually going to be next Wednesday, March 19th. Miss Antel here at the high school has put this together for a couple years, and we just take all of the great creative work from our kids with special abilities, and we put them out down there in the lobby down by the gym, and just have a great time watching, looking at their body of work and recognizing them for the great things that they do as well. So if you can come out 5:30, 6:30, the award ceremony is at 6. If you can come out, please do that. We're going to have a great time. So I'll catch my breath, but that's just a little glimpse of what's been going on here at Canfield, all the great stuff going on, okay? I want to shift gears a little bit. Last month, I talked a little bit about the chemical spill from the MSC people right next door, and I wanted to give you a little update. First of all, and I mentioned this also in my Tuesdays that went home today, if you already had a chance to look at this, August Mac, the company that's in charge, was on site. They did their testing, okay, like they told us they would do. This was over President's Day weekend. The board decided to hire like a third-party guy to come out and kind of oversee everything, and that's this company from PSI, and they were here as well. And if you saw what I put on my Tuesdays, they gave dear Mr. Knoll a very nice summary of what happened, okay, which I appreciate. Those reports come back, they're 500 pages long, and they're hard to understand. So the guy we hired puts that in layman's terms for somebody like me. So like I said, they were here, they did the 6 temporary soil gas and the 2 sub-slabs, and basically those sub-slabs were in our locker room, the weight room area, and the concession stand as well. I do not have results back yet. Okay, they told me about a month, so we're getting close to that, okay, as far as getting that together. And like I said, our company from PSI will put together a nice report and a peer review for the board to help us understand. I also talked last month about the semi-permanent fence, which is going to go out back by our baseball field and those soccer fields. The EPA has asked to put that fence up just as a deterrent, so nobody finds themselves getting in the creek down there. So that should be happening soon. They're also talking to homeowners down that neck of the woods and also here as a district. So that's kind of a brief update on the chemical spill. And hopefully next month at this time, I actually have some results for you that I'll be able to share. I want to shift gears here quickly and talk a little bit about our school calendar. I know there's been a lot of conversation out there about why do we start when we start, what are some of the rationale, how do you put it together, what's it look like? So I'm just going to spend a couple minutes talking about that. And here's one thing I'll say. One thing I love about Canfield is everybody has the right heart. And the right heart is what's best for our kids. Sometimes we might not always agree on how we get there, but that's what brought me to Canfield, to be honest with you. It's the support, and it's people saying, you know what, we're here to do what's right for kids and what's best for kids. So no matter where we land, that's what I appreciate. So let me talk to you a little bit about how we kind of get where we get to. We talk about 3 different priorities. The first one is student learning, and that's always the number one thing. What's best for our kids? What's going to help them do the best that they can do? The second thing is what's best for our families, okay? And then the third thing becomes kind of like what's best for us as a district, okay, as we're putting this thing together. My wingman, Mr. Vito, has spent a copious amount of time reviewing calendars and talking about where we're at. And this is really what helps drive this for us. When I put it on there for everybody to see, fewer instructional days before these high-stakes tests, that we'll talk about more, affect both the pace and depth of teaching, making it harder for students to retain knowledge. One thing that we've learned is it's not just having teachers go over things fast to get to where we need to be come testing time, but it's being able to have enough time to dig down deep and actually get into those concepts and not only be able to have that knowledge, but be able to retain it and get that comprehension. Those are the main priorities as we work our way through. So what are some of those variables that we kind of talk about? The first one's this. If you've got a high school kiddo, you hear CCP and AP, College Credit Plus and Advanced Placement courses. This year right now, we got 328 kiddos taking advantage of that, which is awesome. And we bring this up because these courses start in August. These are like college level courses. The colleges don't care when we start, to be very honest with you. They're up and running and they're going to do their thing, okay? So one reason why we like starting when we start is we get those kids pretty much almost on the same kind of time frame as when we start, okay? Which we think is critical. Those courses, by the way, get you college credit. The AP courses, you got to score 3, 4, 5. And what happens is they set those test dates, like let's say it's May 9th. They don't care when you start. You can start September or October. That test is this day. And we believe it's important to immerse our kids in as many days as we can to give them that curriculum to be successful on those tests to get that college credit, okay? That's one of our goals. Here's the second piece that we talk about. Middle school and high school, we had 445 student athletes on campus. And you guys are athletes in the fall, you know we start like August 1st. So we've got over 400 kids and families that are already here, getting ready to go because they're practicing and getting ready for their season. That's another group of kids that are already here on campus. And number 3 is state testing. I've talked a lot about testing, and I've preached from this podium, and I have said we are more than just a score in Canfield, and we are. But the reality of it is this: we are rated on how well we do, okay? When parents call or they talk to realtors, they want to know, hey, how's that school district? And then I mentioned we're a 5-star school district. That's important. That brings people to Canfield. And one thing we look at, our kids from grades 3 to 8 have what I call those high-stake assessments. We have then the course ones for the folks here at the high school, and I mentioned them. And a lot of those classes are done in December, right around Christmas. So the earlier we get them in here and we get that curriculum in front of them, the better they're going to do on those tests. And there's another thing, I don't know if a lot of people know. We are really special here at this high school. We do something called block scheduling. Not many high schools do that. So basically what that means is one day is really 2, because classes are like an hour and a half. So when I say we start school, let's August, whatever, and we get 7 days in, that's really 14 days if I'm a high school person. And once again, those are critical as we move on. Another thing we do is we have a negotiated agreement with our union, which basically means we all sit down and we kind of agree to what the calendar is before I bring it to the board, which happened this year. And our contract says we have 174, minimum of 174 student instructional days. And one thing I learned about COVID, every day counts. Every day counts. And we need all 174 of them days. Last thing, I know it's important about spring break in Canfield. I learned that lesson my first week here. We got to know when that is so we can get ready to plan. I know Christmas is important as well, and Christmas is Wednesday and Thursday. You usually get 2 weeks there. And I know this year and next year is the worst scenario, an early Labor Day, and it makes it tougher. Like I think this year it was September the 2nd, and next year is September the 1st. All right, with the worst due days they could be, because it kicks everything up. But we also keep that in mind. At the end of the day, this is the most important thing that Mr. Vito has brought to our attention. We looked at 22 school districts, all high performing, some higher than us, okay? Similar, and some in Mahoney County. An earlier student start date before that August date correlated with a higher academic performance. And that's why we're here. Only 13% of 5-star districts start after that date. So at the end of the day, later start dates, especially those in September, are rare among top-rated districts and often coincide with lower performance. And to me, that's why I'm here. This is my number one goal: student academic success. Okay? So those are the things that kind of lead us as we move forward with our calendar. I'm going to wrap it up quickly with a little talk about the biennium budget, and this is what helps fund schools. The governor has come out and took a shot across the bow, as I'm sure you know, okay? And here's what we have. We have what's called the Fair School Funding Plan. It's made up of those 3 things. I need to make it clear before I go any further. It is not a fair school funding plan for Canfield. It is a not fair school funding plan. And I'll talk a little bit more about why that is, but that's just the reality in Canfield, okay? You can see up on the board there, the first part is traditional public schools, okay, which is us, and there's 609 of us. In the governor's proposal, we're losing over $103 million in the next 2 years, okay, as compared to where we were. If you keep going down, you can see vouchers in community schools. They're making out pretty good here. Not going to lie to you. There's about $500 million going that way, okay? So this next chart on the far right kind of talks a little bit more about percentages. For traditional schools like Canfield, okay, it's about a 0.9% decrease over the 2 years. But you can see community STEM schools and JVSs, nothing personal, Mr. Campbell, we don't want to take any money from you, but you can see where they're making some dollars there on this proposal, all right? 90% of the kids in Ohio go to public schools. 90. We only get 70% of the funding. And what's happening is just getting a bigger gap in between what's happening here. And the problem is, if those dollars aren't coming from the state, guess who they got to come from? You. The burden on the local taxpayer is going to get higher and higher. So what does that mean for Canfield? Well, like I said, here's the governor. This is his initial proposal. We have those reductions coming to Canfield. So in 2 years, we're down about $203,000. Something else that's important is Canfield is on what's called the guarantee, which means we're guaranteed no less money than we had the year before. The governor has said, we want to decrease that guarantee. His proposal is 5% in year one, 10% in year two. You see how that's hurting Canfield? Okay, that is not good because now you're getting into hundreds of thousands of dollars. That could be a severe issue for us. Okay? We are at the state minimum 10% share. Did I tell you it's the non-fair school funding? That's the bottom, 10% from the state. So right now we get about $1,700 per kid on the guarantee. In Canfield, it costs us about $11,000 to educate a child. The state average is $12,300. So you can see that big gap there, right? That's those of you in the room living in Canfield filling that gap. Here's the main thing. The other part of this is the property values and resident income make up that piece of the local share. What's happened with the property values in Canfield? Up they went. Resident income, I hope it's going up. I think we're doing well. Those are two pieces of this funding formula that are really hurting us. And once again, that financial burden is going to fall on the local taxpayer. So here's what I would tell the governor or Senator Catrona when I meet with them next Friday. Here's what I'm going to tell them. Finish out the phase-in, because the governor wants to phase in years 5 and 6, which I believe he should, okay, to get us closer. Update the base cost, which means here's how much it costs to educate a kid, not only in Canfield, but everywhere. Get those base costs updated so the financial burden on local taxpayers is less. Now, I got bad news for you. If we do 1 and 2, it helps Canfield 0. I'm speaking as a public school advocate and superintendent for my colleagues around the state. Those two things need to happen. But friends, in Canfield, it's not going to do us any good, sadly. Number 3 is a must. Do not reduce that guarantee for districts like Canfield. Because if we do, well, not we, but if the legislation does, as I showed you, we get a chance to lose some money. And that's going to be hard. Inflation's been over 12% in the last 3 years. Those numbers I showed you, we're not making 12%. We're not bringing any more of that money in, which is making it difficult. And the last piece is categorical funding, things like special ed, transportation. That needs to be updated as well, just so we can get a little level playing field. So I apologize for taking a little more time than normal, but I thought those were things that were important for us here in Canfield. So appreciate your attention.
All right, thank you, Mr. Knoll, for that update. And I guess from a storytelling perspective, you went all the good stuff up front and kind of killed it with the end with that bad news on school funding. So I got to teach you how to tell a better story. You got to kind of sandwich it in between good, bad, good. But congratulations to everyone from the athletics and academics component and to the 5-star. So a lot of great things there. I will make a note on the Innovation Fund. Are we doing the reserve seats for graduation?
Yes,
again?
we are.
So that one was something I bid on. It cost me a lot of money last year, but there's a lot of value if you have a graduating senior to go and look. There's reserved seats. I think it's like 4 seats. 5.
As many as you need.
So it's reserved seats for graduation, so you don't have to fight the crowd to go to the stadium and find seats. They're held for you. The bidding war went pretty aggressive last year, but I made sure I don't want to lose that battle. So. But so a lot of good things for you guys to take a look at. All right, we will now move to some good news and go to our introduction of our Rotary Students of the Month. Is there anybody that was looking to go first? 'Cause it's Whoever wants to go. Dr. Potts, you're listed here first, so we'll let you go first.
Mic down, I think it was set for Mr. Rubin. Good evening, I'm Mark Potts, principal at Canfield High School, and I'm honored to announce that our CHS Rotary Club Student of the Month for March 2025 is Carly Gerst. Carly, you can come up. Carly's a senior at CHS and is a standout in everything she does, but always in a humble way. She will be a four-year letter winner in lacrosse, having already earned all region honors and team MVP her sophomore and junior years. Remember, she's yet to play her senior year. Last year, she set a record with 9 goals in one game. Carly's also a runner, and she's been a part of the girls' cross-country state teams the past 2 years. Speaking of running, when Carly was 14, she decided to challenge herself to running 14 miles on her birthday. And she's kept that going, and in November, Carly turned 18 and ran 18 miles on her birthday. This time, though, she did it as an NHS project and raised money for the American Heart Association. I told her I'd be really impressed if she's still doing that when she's my age, but it'll take her a while. But Carly's also an adventurer. She's an avid skier. She's a certified open water scuba diver, and she participated in an educational tour through 7 European countries last summer. She's been described by her teachers as sweet, caring, dedicated, and conscientious. She describes herself as enthusiastic and genuine. Her parents describe her as strong, dedicated, caring, and friendly. I think all these attributes are likely why her peers chose Carly to be the homecoming queen this year. Carly's also a standout in the classroom. She's challenged herself with honors AP and CCP courses while carrying a GPA over 3.8. She's a member of NHS. She's active in Leo's, and she also volunteers at Zion Lutheran Church, and still somehow has found time to babysit and hold a part-time job until just a couple days ago. All right. She plans to attend Otterbein University and major in nursing next year while continuing her lacrosse career. So it's my pleasure to present Carly Gerst as the Canfield High School Rotary Club Student of the Month.
Congratulations, Carly, to the Gerst family, and good luck in college at Otterbein. And I know you got a whole lacrosse season ahead of you, so good luck your senior year. Congrats. Mr. Rubin.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Judd Rubin, and I'm the principal at Canfield Middle School. And I have the honor of presenting Lucas Shaner as our Rotary Student of the Month for February. Luca was nominated by his history and language arts teacher. They describe him as a quiet leader whose students gravitate towards him. Luca's battled a lot of adversity this year with a traumatic knee injury. He was just coming to his own. I remember watching him in football, and I remember that touchdown he caught against, who was that when he caught that touchdown? Dover. Yeah, against Dover, caught a huge touchdown pass, and he was really coming in his own and heading into basketball season. I know they were counting on him for a lot of things, and unfortunately, Luca tore his ACL in a practice. But the one thing I'm so proud of Luca is that he never missed a practice with his team. He came to every game. He even coached the students versus staff game last week. Unfortunately, he had an L on his record, but he did coach a heck of a game. And so we're really proud of, it really builds a lot of character. I know it's going to just continue with his success once he's healed and participates in athletics in high school. He loves working out with his dad and also helping mom around the house. History is his favorite subject. He really enjoys Mr. Trosi and the way it's taught. He has lots of dogs. He has 2 full brothers and a half brother, so he has lots of family around him. When he gets older, he is talking about being a professional athlete, but as a backup plan, going something into the medical field. I have no doubt he can accomplish that. He's already taken a high school level class with Mrs. Dwyer right now. In his free time, he loves working out, hanging out with friends, and playing video games. So we're extremely proud of Luca's all of his accomplishments.
Congratulations, Luca, and to the Shaner family. Nice work. Mr. Lavery.
Good evening. My name is Travis Laver. I'm the principal at C.H. Campbell Elementary School in Canfield, and I am happy to introduce Lucas Myers as our Rotary Student of the Month. Now, as I was trying to summarize Lucas and some of the great things that he is as a student, I had a hard time of doing it, and really his teacher did it way better than I could. So I just want to read what she had here, because as I tried paring it down, I just couldn't remove a word. So, Lucas is an exceptional young boy. He shows up to class every day with a smile on his face, ready to learn. Inside the classroom, he's a role model for all of his peers. He strives to meet all expectations and takes responsibility for when he falls short. Lucas is kind to everyone around, but also confident enough to speak up when something isn't right. Despite whatever is thrown his way, Lucas makes the best of it. He is more than deserving of this honor. Now, Lucas also had the privilege of having some of the best responses to the questions that we sent out in our student surveys. And again, I didn't feel like I could really pare them down, so I'm just going to read some of them directly from what he said to me. So his favorite subject in school is math. And he said that he lives with his sister and his grandma, and his grandma is trying to make me be an engineer, but I don't want to be one. So we continued on then a little bit, and we asked, what do you want to do in the future? You know, what do you want to do with your life? And he said, well, I guess I have to be an engineer. So I think he definitely is up to the task and could do an amazing job as an engineer. He is an amazing student, a great all-around person. We are very, very grateful to have him as our Rotary Student of the Month this month.
Congratulations, Lucas, and to the Myers family. Great work. Mr. Flood.
Good evening. Michael Flood, principal of Hilltop Elementary. It's my pleasure to introduce Frankie Anthony. You know, before I get into all about him, about 2 years ago, he came to us in second grade and he wanted some help and all that. So our custodian, I always praise Bruce Ware, but Miss Annie took the reign on this one and really took him under the wing and has worked with, so throughout second grade, worked with him all throughout that year. Third grade, mom decided, hey, wanted a smaller setting, go to a different school. But halfway through the year, you know, mom decided to bring him back to Hilltop. So we were blessed to have Frankie back at Hilltop. And once again, Miss Annie took up and he helps her out daily. So Frankie is a bright, kind, and talented young man with a wide variety of interests. Some of these are music of all kinds, including playing a pipe organ, working on rebuilding a go-kart with his dad, playing cards and board games. His favorite subject is music. You know, I tell this story a couple years ago. I walk in the cafeteria and I hear music playing and I see him on the piano and I'm like, who is playing that? And there's Frankie as a second grader just playing for all the kids during Christmas time. He always looks forward to time going camping with his mom and grandparents in their RV. When asked about his future plans, he says he has no clue, but it'll have something to do with music. And one of the coolest things, as you come in, all the kids are coming in with their mom, dad, whoever, in the car line. He pulls up with the motorcycle on with dad. So it's pretty cool. He loves to ride it. One day he's hoping dad teaches him. So congratulations, Frankie.
Congratulations, Frankie, and to the Anthony family. Great work. Before I give you the opportunity to leave, since we're recognizing everyone, I think the next one would be student resolutions, so it'd be good for Mrs. DeCapua to go through those, and then maybe I'll give you guys that opportunity to part ways afterwards.
Okay. Student resolutions, for March 12th, 11th, and 12th, 2025. In boys swimming, whereas Hayden Price was named All-AAC, All-Star NEAC, All-Ohio Honors, State Qualifier in Medley Relay, 200 IM, 100 Backstroke, and record holder in the Hubbard Pool for the 200 IM, 100 backstroke, and record holder in Maslin Washington Pool, 200 IM and 100 backstroke in boys swimming. And whereas Anthony Zaccali was named All-AAC, All-Star NEAC, State Qualifier Medley Relay, and All-Ohio Honors in boys swimming. And whereas Andrew Helmick was named All-AAC, All-Star NEAC, State Qualifier Medley Relay, and All-Ohio Honors in boys swimming. And whereas Ryan Weibling was named All-AAC, All-Star NEAC, State Qualifier Medley Relay, and All-Ohio Honors in boys swimming. And whereas Karsten Miller was named All-AAC, All-Star NEAC, and State Qualifier Diving in boys swimming. And whereas Zachary Mullane was named All-AAC, All-Star NEAC, and District Qualifier in boys swimming. And whereas Noah Calabret was a District Qualifier and State Alternate in boys swimming. And whereas Mikey Zaccali was a District Qualifier in boys swimming. And for girls swimming, whereas Fallon Amedia was named All-AAC Conference Champion, All-Star NEAC Conference Champion, All-Ohio Honors, State Qualifier, Diving, and Canfield Schools record holder in 490.10, which is 11 dives, 304.125, 6 dives in girls swimming. And whereas Adele Colonna was named All-AAC, All-Star NEAC, Individual District Qualifier, State Qualifier 200 Medley Relay, and All-Ohio Honors in girls swimming. And whereas Katie Weibling was named All-AAC, All-Star NEAC, State Qualifier 100-meter breaststroke, 200 medley relay, and All-Ohio Honors in girls swimming. And whereas Josie Protein was named All-AAC, All-Star NEAC, and State Qualifier 200 freestyle, 200 free relay in girls swimming. And whereas Josie Protein was named All-AAC, All-Star NEAC, and State Qualifier 200, okay, I'm repeating the same one as before because my eyes jumped, so I apologize. I apologize. Okay, I'm going to turn the page down. Whereas Jillian Pelusic was named All-AAC, All-Star NEAC, Individual State Qualifier, and State Alternate in girls swimming. And whereas Lila Gray was named All-AAC, All-Star NEAC, and State Qualifier 100 breaststroke, 200-meter relay, and 200 free relay in girls swimming. And whereas Amelia Corum was named All-AAC, All-Star NEAC, and Individual District Qualifier in girls swimming. And whereas Gianna Gambrell was named All-AAC, All-Star NEAC, and Individual District Qualifier in girls swimming. And whereas Matea Roniak was named All-AAC, All-Star NEAC, State Qualifier 100 breaststroke, 200-meter medley relay, 200 free relay, and All-Ohio Honors in girls swimming. And whereas Madeline Gray was named All-AAC, All-Star NEAC, and State Qualifier 200 free relay in girls swimming. And whereas Karina Gambrell was named Individual District Qualifier in girls swimming. And in boys bowling, whereas Matt Logan was named AAC All-Conference, AAC Tournament MVP, and OHSAA Honor Roll in boys bowling. And whereas these accomplishments brought honor to themselves, their families, and their school, therefore be it resolved that these students be commended for these outstanding accomplishments, and that these resolutions be spread upon the official minutes of the Canfield Board of Education, and that copies be presented to them. Congratulations. Job well done.
Congratulations. I know Mr. Knoll pointed it out in his update and see several of you here, so thank you for being here, and kudos to all of you guys, and job well done.
Great season. Great
And I
season.
just have to say, Andrew Helmick, there you are. Man, I did not even recognize you when I walked in. It has been like 15 years since I saw you last, so wow, just wow.
He's grown a little bit.
You've grown a little bit,
That's it,
yeah. Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations. And I know it is a school night, so this is the opportunity for you, if you'd like to leave, we'll give you that opportunity, but if you'd like to stay for the remaining riveting agenda, you're more than welcome to do so as well. So But thank you for attending, and congratulations to all of you that were recognized today.
Have a good evening.
Next up, we do have the presentation of minutes from our February 12th meeting that we received in advance. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved, Campbell.
Second, Demilo.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Dr. Alquist?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes. Next up, we have our treasurer's reports for January.
Okay, the first report I'd like to comment on, the cash summary report. You'll notice the general fund balance, the very first line, it's a little lower than usual. Just like to point out, January was a 3-pay month, as you'll see on the next check payment register report. And also, real estate tax advances don't come in until March, so we're relying on our carryover balance to pay for expenses. I don't have any other comments on that report. Moving on to the check payment register, like I said, those, it was a 3 payroll month. They're listed at the top, and those 3 items make up 73% of expenses for the month. So, and that's just salaries, not even the benefits portion of that. So you can see we pay a lot for personnel services. That's the main part of our budget. The outstanding purchase order register, the new items you haven't seen, start on page 16. And if you go to the very last item, this is the excess costs from the county. We reconcile that on an annual basis. So is the reconciliation from last year for fiscal year '24, and we owed an additional $69,000 to the county for services that we had paid estimates on the year before. And then the investment holdings, I went back, I thought it was interesting. Of course, we all know the rates are going down. I went back a year from now, and we were at 5.7, and now you can see we're at 4.7. So a whole point has been lost over that year, and it certainly is reflected in our earnings as well. Anybody have any questions on any of the reports?
I do not. Anyone else? If there are no other questions, can I get a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented?
So moved, Alquist.
Second, DeCapua?
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Dr. Alquist?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes. Next up, public participation. Can I grab that, please, there? We have a few that have signed up. So first up is Ms. Vaughn, Mrs. Vaughn, Brooke Vaughn. For those that, I think, Brooke, this is your first time doing this, so just state your name for the record and your address, please, and then you have 3 minutes to present. And the microphone would probably be good because for those people that are listening.
All right. I'm Brooke Vaughn. My address is 3705 Fairway Drive, obviously in Campfield. And just get started?
Yeah, now you can, now
All
you
right,
have
cool.
3 minutes to go ahead and.
Thanks. Good evening, board members and Mr. Knoll. Mr. Knoll, thank you for taking a proactive approach on addressing the calendar and providing some insight that we may not have had otherwise. But with that said, I am here tonight to speak on behalf of a growing number of parents and teachers who have concerns about our school calendar. My purpose is to simply ask questions that I hope the board will take seriously and further explore. I would not be here if these issues weren't important to so many families. For several years, parents and teachers have expressed concerns about the early start date of the school year. However, it does not seem that there are alternative options being seriously considered. While we understand that a small percentage of the high school students may need an earlier start date for testing or college credit classes, why should that impact the entire student body, or especially the elementary students? Families value their time together in the summer, yet our start date continues to creep earlier into August. Other districts have successfully adjusted their schedules by adding minutes to the school day, rather than starting earlier. Could this be an option for our district? And additionally, could we consider aligning the teachers' contracts with students' hours rather than the days, as done in many of our neighboring districts? Would the board be willing to send out a survey to families to gather their input on this issue? A similar survey for teachers could also provide valuable insight. Many parents and educators feel strongly about this, and giving them a choice in the discussion would help ensure that decisions reflect the needs of our school community. We're proud to be Cardinals, and we deeply value our schools. We want to support them in every way possible. In return, we ask that our concerns be heard and thoughtfully considered. We hope to see positive changes in the future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And just because you're not familiar with it, Mrs. Vaughn, typically I don't respond to comments, and we'll do so, but I know that this has been a hot topic that's been kind of going out there, and I've received several communications, as the board has. We are not ignoring the feedback of the community. We are clearly hearing what you're trying to do and the advocacy for that, but clearly understand, based upon what Mr. Knowles provided, when the calendar comes to us, we typically will review it, ask questions, and approve it based on the recommendation of the administrative team. So there's a lot that goes into it. I think what I'll commit to you in just what you've presented is that we can always ask questions to understand if there's opportunities that can be looked at and evaluated, but I'm also not going to guarantee that it can happen immediately. But I think we're open to just asking questions and being able to kind of take the feedback you've given. So thank you for that.
We appreciate that, and this positive discussion is absolutely appreciated.
Thank you for your attendance. Appreciate it. And I see a name that I think I recognize, Mr. Henry. If I was a betting man, I could probably guess the topic, but I might be wrong too.
Jason Henry, 30 Montgomery Court, Canfield. I actually don't have as much to say on the facilities tonight. I just want to make sure that for the record, it stays in front of both the board and the community. I think that we need to make sure that that there's a plan, and I understand that the board works and you guys have all your stuff or whatever. I can only go by what comes out to the community. You know, the website used to have the facilities update and everything when it was the hot button topic, and we don't have that at the moment. So there's no, hey, we're talking to this group, we're doing this, we've established a budget, we need to, get back in front of the OFCC, we need to do these things. So we don't see that. I don't see that. You guys are welcome to let me know. You have my email address. Just shoot me a note, say, hey, this is what we're doing. We can save this time next month. I did want to, although now that it's come up, I do want to take my last minute to talk to the school calendar thing. Simply because I think it's important to everybody realize that putting out a survey or whatever is both good and bad. Because like in my family, I firmly believe that school should start after Labor Day. I think the weather's better. Everybody think, well, June and August are both. No, August is hotter than June in my book. With air conditioning being a problem at schools, I think that's an issue. So I believe, I grew up in Canfield in the 80s. We started after Labor Day. That was just the way it was, and it worked. But I have a son who played high school football, and they start July 31st, whether school starts August 20th or September 20th. And so they'll be in session all of that time, and it just makes his school year that much longer, which is true. He's in college, and it's the same there. It's no different. They still start early. But my wife's a teacher, and if you ask her, and I did, they're instructed to teach to the test. Nobody likes the test. They hate it. But the instruction is you have to, get your kids ready for the test. The more time you have in front of that, the better. the less time you have after that, the better. Once the test is passed, the instruction level and the kid's attention level changes dramatically. And if you add a week or a week and a half at the end after the test date, it makes it harder for the staff. And again, this is high school, and I understand the differences to high school and elementary school. I do think it would be very difficult for a school district to split that into 2 different start dates, but you kind of do already. The elementaries already start a couple days late. Yeah, even in one family, if you ask, send a survey to my house, you would get 3 different responses to the calendar issue. So it's a difficult thing. I don't envy anybody looking at it from either side, so.
Thank you, appreciate it. And I think you make a valid point that this is one of those that it can go either side, and there could be advocacy on both sides of it. And so, I think if anything, the takeaway that I'd like to kind of reinforce is that it really is students first. So we're not trying to compromise in any way in that capacity. I think it's not by accident that Canfield's a 5-star school district and one of the only in Mahoning County. So there's intention behind a lot of things that the school district does. And so, again, we take the feedback given, we will evaluate and consider it and look ahead. But I think for this year, the calendar is probably going to stay as is based upon the approval that came forward.
And I'd just like to interject one thing. As a resident community member alum, I've been here most of my life, and the start date truly has nothing to do with giving your kids a longer vacation. It had everything to do that Canfield was a farming community and a 4-H community back in the day, and the Canfield Fair, being one of the biggest fairs in the state, was a place where these kids went and showed their animals. And that is probably the main reason that Canfield started after Labor Day, was due to the Canfield Fair and the huge 4-H participation in this, what was once a very rural area. I mean, when I was in school, our superintendent would take off because he was showing cows and horses. So I think that was one of the reasons why we were starting after Labor Day. And then it just stuck. And now we have other things to deal with and things, that we have to take into consideration as well, so.
And then, one final comment, Mr. Henry, you mentioned in regards to the schools and the projects, you are correct. We probably need to evaluate just continuing that discussion, and even maybe, I know we had delayed a work session. We probably should maybe evaluate a work session coming forward soon, so we can kind of have a more open dialogue with everybody.
We can do that.
Yeah, so.
And I'll send you an email. I can give you a quick update.
And you saw in regards to the Fair School funding formula how we're going to be compromised. So we're going to be restricted with a lot of things going forward, and it puts school districts in a difficult position to take action on things that they want, with also having scaled back resources from a funding perspective to function on a daily basis. So we got some things ahead of us. But thank you for everybody and your feedback and the comments made today. Anyone else before I move on? All right, we can move to new business.
Okay, so under personnel, resignations under license, my good friend, Mr. John Vitto, effective August 1st, 2025, requesting a rehire option, Exhibit 1A. Under transfer and reassign, Ms. Logan Franzowski from the middle school intervention tutor to grade 5 teacher, effective for the 25-26 school year at $44,285, and she is in the house. So congratulations. All right. She had a nice on-the-job interview, so we got to see her in action, which was nice. All right, you are more than welcome. Ms. Don O'Connell from the high school lunchroom aide to the high school cafeteria worker, effective March 12th to 25 at $15.52 per hour. Under our classified subs, we have Sarah Reyes, Allison Gregg, and Philip Liscombe under Exhibit number 2. Also, I'd like to recommend hiring of our extracurricular per enclosed list, Exhibit number 3, resolutions number 90-2025 and 91-2025. Under resignation for extracurricular, we have Adam Kemp, as the assistant boys lacrosse coach. That's exhibit number 3B. In hiring our summer help, we have Tanya Hartman, Kathy Palumbo, and Angela Burke. Those were our summer secretaries at $13 an hour for 5 hours a day. And those folks had that position last year. So all those individuals as presented.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the personnel recommendations as presented in items A through F?
So
So-
moved, Demilo.
Second, DeCapua?
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Dr. Alquist,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua,
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo,
Yes.
Mr. Atway.
Yes.
And I'd like to recommend adopting resolution number 92-2025 for the retire-rehire of John Vito and Cheryl Tupick as exhibit 4.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to adopt resolution 92-2025 for the retire-rehire of Mr. Vito and Mrs. Tubick?
So moved, Alquist?
Second, Campbell.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Dr. Alquist,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua,
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo,
Yes.
Mr. Atway.
Yes.
And I'd like to recommend approving the out-of-state or overnight field trips in exhibit number 5. We have C.H. Campbell's first graders going to Keystone Safari Grove City in PA, May 23rd of 2025. We'll learn about the animals in real life. And our Model UN Club traveling to Westminster College in New Wilmington, PA for a conference on April 9th, 2025. Those in exhibit number 5.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve our out-of-state overnight field trips as presented in exhibit 5?
So moved, DeCapua?
Second, Demilo.
Any discussion?
CH trip, new?
I think that is new,
Is it
actually.
new?
Yep,
Mhm.
yeah.
I don't think
Gonna
there's
give it a
any
try.
local safaris anymore.
Yeah.
The local one that was in Vienna, I think, closed.
Oh, okay.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Alquist,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua,
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo,
Yes.
Mr. Atway.
Yes.
I'd also like to recommend approving the Mahoning Valley Regional Council of Government Service Agreement, July 1 of 25 through June 30 of 26. That's Exhibit 6.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion approving our Mahoning Valley Regional Council of Government Services Agreement as presented in Exhibit 6?
So moved, Campbell.
Second, Alquist?
Any discussion?
Can you talk about what this involves?
Sure.
Ms. Hill?
Ms. Treasurer, can you jump in on that one?
I'm sorry?
Can you
Just
talk
explain.
just a little bit about that COG agreement?
What is this one? Just a
yeah.
reminder.
Yeah, the main thing that we use them for is for our substitute teacher services. John, is there other things that we use the COG for than your department or area?
Just substitute teachers.
Yeah, I think it's just the substitute teachers.
And we do this every year. We review this one.
Yes, the bulk of the other services are in the next agreement.
Okay. So they just help secure the subs and we pay them a fee for that, basically?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Alquist,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua,
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo,
Yes.
Mr. Atway.
Yes.
And I'd like to recommend approving the additional service agreement between the ESC of Eastern Ohio and Canfield Local Schools, July 1st of 25 through June 30 of 26. That's Exhibit 7.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve our ESC and Canfield Local Schools Agreement as presented in Exhibit 7?
So moved, DeCapua?
Second, Alquist?
Any discussion? This one's the more robust one.
Yeah. Same question.
Same question.
So the bulk of the expenses on this agreement are preschool. We also have a couple students in the special ed units, our occupational therapy, physical therapy, and then a large part is speech. Our county curriculum and staff development services are also part of that. And it's a significant amount. I do have a comparison sheet, which I can get out to you if you'd like, that shows the last 5 years of actual.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
curious.
If you have a moment, yes, thank you.
Thank you.
So these are just, again, services that, occupational therapy, PT, speech, that we kind of farm out
Right.
to the ESC versus have in-house.
Instead of hiring our own employees, we use their employees to provide
Okay.
those services. Because sometimes it's not enough for a full-time staff member.
Sure.
Is there variability in the pay based on the amount of students in need of the services? Or is it just once an OT is hired, they make the same amount whether they have
Yeah,
one
and
student?
if I'm
or
wrong,
20?
jump in here, but usually they do a blended rate.
Okay.
So they take all their people and they come up with a rate, and then that's shared by all the districts, but it's based on the people that they hire.
Okay.
But it's what they call blended rate.
So we don't pay them, with most of these, a flat fee. It's essentially based off of usage.
Yeah, it's usage, how many hours or minutes, and then how much it is for that rate as
Okay.
well, yes.
And just from a context perspective, using them helps because of the blended rate, gives us the savings, because otherwise if we were to go out independently to have full-time, it would cost us more.
Sure.
And you also worry about benefits as
Yeah.
well.
We meet a couple times a year with them and go over all the services and look at if that's the best option.
Right. If it were, I mean, as a district, parents, administration, everybody's happy with the services we're getting from them.
Yeah, they do a very good job for us.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Alquist?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
And I'd like to recommend adopting a resolution for special education model policies and procedures. That's exhibit number 8.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to adopt our resolution of special education model policies and procedures as presented in Exhibit 8?
So moved, DeMello.
Second, Campbell.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I guess, I read through this a little bit. I don't know if John's the guy to talk about this, or if you guys could just kind of explain what this is.
Periodically, the rules for special education change, and there is a plethora of rules and procedures that must be followed.
Sure.
And the state comes up with a model policy that's in compliance with federal law, and that is what we adopted.
Okay. And it looked like some of the language basically changed from what it was. Is that what this document shows, the original language versus the change? Doesn't look like anything. I don't know if everybody else read through it, if you guys had any questions.
Yeah, updates in language. It's almost like how we do in our policy when we get new policies for that,
Gotcha.
yeah, they strike out and we add new language.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
And this is this is required for the state, right?
Yeah, and this had a deadline with it too, so
Okay.
there was some urgency on this one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Alquist?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend adopting a resolution accepting the amounts and rates, resolution number 94-2025. Exhibit 9.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to adopt a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as presented in Exhibit 9?
So moved, DeCapua?
Second, Alquist.
Any discussion?
This is basically just the amounts we're getting funding-wise from the county, or?
So, every year we're required to accept these rates that the auditor comes up with. So some of the fixed sum levies, like our emergency fund, have to be adjusted, the millage has to be adjusted, so it brings in the set amount of dollars. And that was what the difference is between last year and this year. The emergency levy went from .94 to .92. And that was just so it still brings in $890,000, which was what it was approved for. If we left it at that higher amount, it would bill out at a higher amount than what we're really supposed to get from what the voters voted on.
Gotcha.
But everything else, the millage stayed the same.
Okay. Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Alquist?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes. Next up, we have donations. Can you read them?
I shall.
All right.
March 2025 donations, Robert Sen Studio, $2,000 to the CHS Principals Fund, Again, Robert Senn, 1775 to $1,775 to CVMS Principals Fund. Robert Senn, $1,212 to the Hilltop Principals Fund, and Robert Senn Studio, $1,182 to the CHC Principals Fund. The remainder of these, the remainder of these donations are all going to Challenge 24. Matthew and Jennifer Morgan, $250. Jamie Doherty and Charles Mustad, $100. Gary and Jennifer Coleman, $100. Brian and Alyssa Gaps, $250. Galt Heating, $100. Jason Family Dental, Boardman LLC, $250. Lefterios and Heather Hiladanis, $50. Beth and Paul Drennan, $100. Mark Smallwood, CPA, $100. David and Leanna Kemble, $50. Julie Swager, $100. Michael and Nicole Solly, $50. Karen and Anthony Thomas, $25. Felicia Carpenter, $50. Michael and Sherry Karras, $50. Balabar Sandhu and Sarbjit Kaur, $50. John and Diana Scirocco, $250. Carrie Ratliff, $250. Shannon Yanati, $50. Paul and Mary Witowski, $50. Darren and Marissa Augustine, $250. Junior Women's League of Canfield, $500. Ahmed and Judith Maspa, $100. Ryan and Christina Maluski, $250. Okay. Jean Haas Foundation, $2,750 to the Jets Club Robotics Program. Jeannie Mosier, $500 to the Jets Club Robotics Program. Kyle M. Brown Memorial Foundation, $2,000 to the CVMS Principals Fund, giving us a cash total in donations for March of $14,794.
Thank you to all those that donated. Appreciate your generosity. Can I have a motion to approve the donations for March as presented?
So moved, Demilo.
Second.
Good.
Second, Alquist.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Dr. Alquist?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes. At this point, I would like to have a motion to go into executive session to discuss the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee. From this, we will be going into executive session. Coming back, there will be no action taken, so you're more than welcome to stay, or you can leave because we'll be adjourning when we come back out of executive. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved, DeCapua.
Second.
We'll give it to Mr. Campbell this time. Roll call, please.
Dr. Alquist?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes. We will be going into executive session and coming back. All right, we are back from executive session at 8:10 PM. We have no other action to be taken. Can I get a motion for adjournment, please?
So moved.
Second, Alquist.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, guys. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Okay, back on the stage.